Well. I am Lone, and we are back for some Bleach Soul Resonance. I have a bone to pick with a certain character. Not a character, but a boss in this game. That little bastard with the eye patch. Not this guy. This guy's chilling. This is Kenpachi. But that Arankar with the eye patch, who has that stupid, like, bone armor thing he has that makes him take less damage for so long. And if you're a whale, you just blast right through it. But if you're one of us hard-working, free-to-play, low spenders, well, he'll give you some trouble. So, today that's going to be the content we're taking on. My Kenpachi has not gone through many upgrades or anything. My Mayuri, on the other hand, as I listed before, if you didn't watch that video, got Ascension 2 core stamp from dismantling some core stamps. I dismantled the Ikaku and Tosen one, as well as getting a buff to his weapon stamp, which gives him ailment mastery. We do not have any dupes on him at all, and we now have the Konjiki Ashisojizu pool of poison that he puts on the ground, right? So, with those things in mind, we are sort of ready to give us an attempt, right? We're going to go ahead and try to get through that content with Mayuri. We're going to be using a team of Mayuri, Urahara, and Kenpachi. Kenpachi should be able to output enough DPS by himself if things go well. I just need to be pretty tight on my rotations, and I'm more used to them now, so I think they'll go pretty well. My Kenpachi does have Boundary 1. I would like to repeat that. My Kenpachi does have Boundary 1, but this is a free-to-play, like, setup, right? Like, Boundary 1 and Boundary 2, I would consider free-to-play. Boundary 3, 4, 5, and 6, I would consider low spending to whaling. Boundary 4 in particular, I would say you only really need to skip, like, 2 or 3 characters to get this. So, if you're someone who really likes a character that we haven't gotten yet and you want Boundary 4 on them, consider skipping 2 or 3 characters. But yeah, for my money, though, for my, money, quote unquote, for my free-to-play merit, I would say that Boundary 1 and Boundary 2 are considered free-to-play to me. So I've got Boundary 1 Kenny. I do not have a Boundary 2 Urahara, which is the one that makes the most, gives him the most pop. And I do not have any boundaries at all in Mayuri. So, with all that being said, though, let's get into fighting the Noitaro, and we'll see if we can beat this bastard. Let's go. And here we return, getting into the fight here. We got this absolute monster. I would love this character to actually come to the game. You can see I do a little walk there. The reason I do a walk there is because I was turning off auto mode. I was autoing the first 2 stages. I haven't had any trouble autoing the first 2 stages, by the way, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm autoing the first 2 stages, now I know I'll win. It's really only been Mr. Gilga here who has given me trouble. We back away, and that's to create space so we don't get hit out of our special attack with Urahara. That is one thing. I don't want to make it seem like Urahara has all of these issues, because he really doesn't. But when Urahara is challenged, and I think he will be if they continue to increase the activity of the bosses, the ability for the bosses to actually stand up to us, I think one of the things we'll see is that Urahara has a tough time rotating out after doing his special attack. You can get a very easy swap with him. You can swap very early into the animation, but sometimes when he's taking this back step right here, he just gets popped. And it's a little annoying if you don't have them in hit stun. If you don't have the enemies that is in hit stun, you end up with a bit of an annoying moment where you can just get bopped out, and then you have to go back into it and all these different things. So it is a thing to mention when you're talking about Urahara and Mayuri, because Mayuri, by comparison, literally, I literally just got hit there. We go into ult instead of snatching his parry, but that's fine. I just want to get him out. But Mayuri literally doesn't have this problem, because Mayuri is instant on almost everything he does, and he freezes the screen. So I think there is a big, powerful thing that he does that I don't really see people talk about. I think I'm a little more interested in stuff like that. We got the parry here. Ugh, he's getting his ass beat. And it was around this time that I knew I was going to be packing him up, because I was like, wow, he just got broken. And the last few times I've tried this, it was like 40 seconds left at this point. So I was like, okay, Mayuri diff. He's literally neg diffing this guy. It's over. We're going to have more than enough time to get this damage in. But yeah, it's one of those things I don't see people give enough credit to characters, is just how little time their abilities take to manifest. And we're going to see that come up eventually, because it isn't always going to be like the content is, blast the enemy as fast as possible and the whales do the most damage, and et cetera, right? At some point, they will put a character in front of you like Okieta or something, whose entire intention is just to kill you. It's not to like make you waste enough time that the fight ends. It's going to be to kill you. And I think when we see that, we might start to see characters like Kisuke show their faults a little more, because that animation, like I said, it doesn't seem long, and it's a little bit longer than you think when pressure is being put on. But that's what makes Mayuri all the more valuable, I think. And also, I've never seen that final slash miss, so a little bit of tracking issue there. But yeah, this screen freeze is just so good, man. We do miss the ult, but we rotate right back into him, get to drop on that boy and put him to sleep here. Boom. Yeah, 4 stocks left, and he is already at, we have 58 seconds to work with. I mean, that is just more than enough. We're about to finish it off here. I'm letting it sort of, I'm letting the beat build a little bit here. Let me see how much spiritual pressure this did. That did so much spiritual pressure damage. You see that? That was a ton. I didn't even notice that in the fight. I was like, how am I gonna break? I remember breaking him to finish us off, so I was like, how did I do that? Yeah, wow, man, Mayuri is so nice. But coming up on the end here, we're just gonna smash it out, and yeah, I'll see you at the post game. I'll see you at the damage here, because that's the fight. Let's do wrap up. And there we have the fight completely wrapped up now. We've got the DPS on screen that we can take a look at what the splits were. You can see Mayuri didn't really contribute with damage, but the overall crit damage he was affording, as well as the Kisuke Yudahara crit damage, is just way too much with Kenpachi. So long as your Kenpachi is critting at a pretty critting at a very reliable clip, you're going to see that damage just go up and up and up and up, right? Because crit damage just does so much for these characters, and the ailment mastery, the all type damage mastery, is just so much when it comes to providing that extra kick for Kenpachi. Because I don't believe you get Kenpachi's, you don't get Kenpachi's ailment damage or what have you until you're actually like several dupes in or something like that, right? I don't know if he has a version of that for himself. I guess we can check that really quickly, but that is the team I went with, and I'll go back to it after. But he gets ailment damage mastery at the end, right? Yes, ailment mastery at the end. So that is something that is multiplicative, I believe, that is being provided purely by Mayuri there. And you can see at 67% here, plus the core stamp, which is giving 2 stacks, right? 2 stacks of 10% crit rate, so 20%, means that at a full clip we are operating at 87%, nearly 90% crit rate or something like that, I believe. It's conditional, quote unquote, conditional, but 103% crit damage here, and that's going hugely to the moon. That's going to the absolute stratosphere when Yudahara and Mayuri are both functioning at maximum, right? So we can take a quick look at the gear. I haven't touched my Kenpachi essentially since the game, or his celebration, ended. So we can see slash damage here, some ailment damage, crit rate, attack percent. We could definitely get a bonus crit damage here and just have a better character overall. But like I said, once I build a character, unless I have a bunch of resources sitting around, I don't go back and just start building characters that I consider done. So for now, he's done, essentially. We have a bunch of attack percents here, but none that really stack up to this piece here. We do have some crit rates lying around that I could switch to if I really wanted, but again, none that really stack up to this piece, which I have 30'd. So crit rate 32%, some crit damage here, some crit rate here, attack percent is good, ailment damage is good. I should actually untick these. I'll unlock these, that way I don't have them just loitering around, because I probably will not actually need them going forward. They're just kind of wasted resources. But yeah, as far as my Kenpachi, he's pretty done. And here's my last piece of gear here, 21% attack main stat. If you're someone who has boundary 2, then ailment main stat is much better here, as well as a crit damage second piece main stat. That just sends you over the moon. I do not have boundary 2. This is a completely free to play experience. We're at Boundary 1. I do consider Boundary 2 to be within the realm of free to play, by the way. If you're new to the channel, or you're just passing by and you hear this, I consider Boundary 1 and Boundary 2 to be relatively free to play accessible. The difference between Boundary 1 and Boundary 2 in terms of like being completely free to play and being low spending is it's a skip, essentially. If you skip like one character halfway through the second character, you should be able to afford yourself a Boundary 1, maybe even a Boundary 2 if you get even a modicum of luck. Like assuming you don't literally go to pity 3 times on the same character, you should be able to hit a Boundary 2 pretty simply. I mean, that is what happened here with LL. I didn't, I got a modicum of luck on, like, I think I hit her at like pity for the initial summon. I hit her in like 20 or 30 pulls for the second summon, and I just decided, okay, we'll go all in, right? So, and that's without like skipping any characters. So Boundary 2 is where I consider the top end of like free to play. If you skip 2 characters, maybe 3 characters, you can start talking about Boundary 4, Boundary 6, but that is not what we do on this channel. We talk about the free to play lens. So in that case, I would consider this a very free to play friendly Kenpachi. He does have his Boundary 1, though I would say that it did matter there, and that, it's obviously a chunk of damage, right? It did matter. I'm not gonna say it did not matter, but we did have like time to spare. You know what I mean? We didn't like, oh my god, we beat him with 4 seconds left. The thing that changed there is Mayuri's buffs. So we can see that he gets 10% ailment mastery here on his weapon, and his bonus to terror has been increased substantially, right? Or rather, we have his core stamp, rather, that has increased his crit damage substantially. So it's at 100% because we are at Ascension 2, which we achieved by dusting our actual 6-star stamps, right? We dusted the Tosen and we dusted the Ikaku. We dismantled both and put them into Mayuri. We have all skill mastery right here, and we have a pool of poison that this leaves on the ground, right? Very powerful ability. So I would say that overall we're just seeing like a very he's the best, right? He's like the best support in the game for sure. I don't think Yudahara is still like so far behind, oh my god, Yudahara is just worthless now or anything. I just think, and I've said this before, I think Yudahara was like a mistake. I don't think they meant to make Yudahara as crazy as he is. I know the devs definitely have like a finger on the pulse, but even still, he seems a little too good. I would expect the best sort of standard character to be Tosen. Like, this is the level of strength I would have expected every limited or free to play like standard character to be at, and I think Yudahara kind of slipped through the cracks. That is just my opinion. But with all that being said, I have been Lone. That was the tower. We can go back here one more time just to take a look at it. We are now in the top 4.7%. We are almost to the end. We'll have to see if we can beat this one, but I will say before the Mayuri buffs, genuinely, before Core Stamp 2 and before the Mayuri buffs, I was walled completely by this boss. This Noitara was beating me every single time. I did not have any answer for him. I tried multiple teams. I tried Yachiru, Kisuke. I tried upping my Byakuya. I gave my Byakuya more and better weapons and items, and wasn't good enough. So I tried multiple times, and the thing that broke it was Mayuri's buffs. So, if nothing else tells you that Mayuri is crazy, let that tell you. But I've been Lone. Like if you liked the video, subscribe, join the club. We all gonna make it, and peace.